vintage, very antique Hoover 725 that we have refurbished for Mr. Sillysid123. Go check out his YouTube channel because, yeah, he hasn't seen this yet, obviously, for his first video. It'll be his first look at it. Obviously, we've seen this before, so we should hopefully see an improvement, and it's certainly a lot more electrically safe than it was before. We've got a couple of things to finish off and do, so let's have a look at how this Victorian vacuum cleaner has turned out. Yes, hello, my vacuum cleaner and vintage Hoover chums. How are you today? Yes, this is, I suppose, the vacuum equivalent nowadays in 2024 of a brush. And it's not very technologically advanced at all. But when they were new, these things were amazing. You had to be spankingly rich to be able to afford one of these coffee cans. I've just taken off the cable, and this is actually one of the new parts that it has. This is the used cable that I had in the shed. It's 2 cords, not 3. It's a bit shorter. It's a lot thinner and nicer. It's not quite as, twisted up. But I did fit the POMK tough plug to it, which had a bit of a scrub. It's all clean and nice, and yeah, it just makes it look a little bit nice. Obviously, it hasn't got its original cable, so there's no point making any more tears about that. But this is just going to keep it going another 30, 40 years. The handle I haven't done anything with because it needs a replacement grip, really. And there's only so many ways you can go about that. You could find a better handle or a grip. Like, it's always possible. They use this a lot. You could take this completely off and just fit a modern, plastic grip on there. You might be able to get a black one from a Recon 70s Junior, or do what I've done and just leave it fully alone because, yeah, there's nothing you can do, sadly. This is just petrified rubber. It is completely gone. I think this is a replacement part as well, because this bit has 3 screws, and obviously the 912A and some of the 80s machines use this. I've got some of these from Barton's, brand new, never used. And yeah, I think that's what's been put on there, because there's no way that this perfectly mint, very rubbery cord end would have survived if the rest of it looks like that. And that's it, really. It's been cleaned. I didn't paint the handle because I think that is just the right amount of patina versus paint left over. So with the top done for now, we'll put the bag on in a bit. Let's have a look underneath because we have something left to do. And that is to fill this hole. Underneath here looks really lovely. In fact, we can now open, he says, this part with no force at all. It just glides up and down, backwards and forwards. The whole thing has been scrubbed and cleaned and all the mating faces gone over. You could do far better, of course. And yeah, giving you all a good old oil up. And it's spotlessly good, really. The motor spins, which we'll hear that in a second. The only thing that we need to do, obviously, is fit the brush roll. Now, comment down below, but I don't think that this is the original brush roll because it wouldn't have had brush strips. Oh, am I going to be able to get these? Oh no, okay, we're all going to come out fine. I don't think it should have brush strips like this. I thought this era had, the metal type with the screws even at this age that you had to take off and on. I don't think this is an era appropriate brush roll, but saying that, it's fine. It's a good brush roll. And what I have behind me is, hopefully, some new brush strips that will fit. Although I think I just picked the short one, yeah, because if these fit, Sillysid can have a spare pair because we got loads of these from Barton's. And I think, okay, it's just going to need the littlest of trims on that edge just to pull that in. Let's check the other side. Oh, that's a perfect fit. This is why I grabbed loads of these, because, yeah, it's going to be ever so easy to just shave that down, put this back together. Yeah, look at the look at the difference between them. It's hopefully going to be a lot better, or it's going to highlight some massive problem with the motor. So the only way to find out, with this all working well and back together, we obviously need some way to turn it. Perhaps in time with this motor. Now, it came with a belt that ran, and you know, I'm certainly not going to chuck this away because, as perish it is, we all know the story with modern belts. I'm not even 1,000% sure this one's correct. It is for, it does say, 612638912, which I think means it's perhaps going to be a little bit too thick. But I'm hoping that with this not being a genuine brush roll, and with it going to have quite a stretch on it, we should be okay. Oh yeah, you don't need to fit the belt straight away, do you? You've got to fit the brush roll into the carriage, snap those two little tabs back. Yes, birdies. Then pop this down, sort of pulling the belt. I could have unscrewed these and made this whole job a lot easier. And then what does it say? Place the high side in line with this line, which will be that side. And there we go. I think that's going to be okay. The worst it's going to do is bounce and hit this part here, which isn't going to ruin my day. I'll be honest, 'cause yeah, it's a modern belt. Who knows what it's going to do? And yeah, I will give this to Sillysid, because again, it works. It's quite perish, but the thing with these old belts is that when they get like that, they still got the strength in them. And you know, we've all seen Mr. Hoover Lux's fun and games with modern junior belts where they just break after 35 seconds, and it's just no fun. What's also no fun is not having a bag on this machine. So as I undo the screws ever so slightly in order to take this off, we should go fit a bag, and that should mean that we are ready to do some cleaning. Then we can admire how shiny it is, because it's been hand polished. It's never going to be perfect, I'm afraid. I don't have a machine, but all the tarnishing is off. It probably wants going over again quickly because I've got fingerprints all over it now. Probably should have done that before filming this video, but never mind. What I also did was just put a little drop of black just around that trim there, which makes it look a lot nicer indeed. So didn't paint the handle, didn't want to do that, but yeah, that and the top of the bag slide, which I'll show you in a minute, just looks a little bit nicer. And I think, yeah, again, you can sit at home with some auto sole and some 0000 grade wire wool, and this will come up. But the more you do it, the better it will come up. And yeah, that's something that I am not going to do. Right, let's find some way for it to hold some dirt. The bag has washed up beautifully. This must be one of the cleanest bags I have ever seen that, you know, hasn't been taken care of for like the last 6 years by the same person. It's very clean. I mean, you see my bags, that little hole there is absolutely nothing. All these little holes at the top are absolutely nothing. I haven't done anything with this. This survived the good wash. And when I say wash, I mean a good soak in like a couple of changes of just cold water to get the filth out. Then some biological liquid in another bucket of warm water. Leave it for a couple of hours with a little swirl. And all by hand, all you're doing is just rinsing the dirt out. That's why it's still a little bit mucky and stained, because what really matters is this beautiful age era appropriate writing. Just looks lovely. So we need to pop this onto the ring. I mean, again, how hard do you go? I could have scrubbed all of that corrosion out there, but I didn't want to damage the fabric. It's not going to get any worse now, because, well, hopefully, because we washed it and I've cleaned this. It'll take it another 100 years to sort itself out. Right, let me get this fitted. We'll get the bag fitted, and then we can turn it on. There we go. Our Hoover is fit and ready. I mean, the bag's a little bit saggy, but it's got a spring on it. It shouldn't have a spring, it should have a strap, but it doesn't. This is fine. Again, it'll look lovely sat in the background of Mr. Sillysid videos. Does it, Tom? Yes, it does. It runs really, really well. I didn't actually want it to pick up any dirt. What we've got to do is turn, oh, wrong way, turn the height control knob right up. Oh my goodness. And we can play nowadays about floating heads on vacuum cleaners. There we go. Because I want to run the motor but not pick up dirt. I want to look at the billowing bag. Ready? We can pick it up with relative safety now because the wires from this point down there, well, they're being S8 wires, would you know? So that's pretty good. We are going to take off this lovely bag, which I think has already, I don't know, it looks okay. It's all the injections there. So obviously this is how you're supposed to empty them. You're supposed to, I think they say, stand on these in the manual. And then, yeah, look, oh, look, there's some bits of hot glue that from projects past. Well, they can go back in there because, yeah, as you know, I don't like using these for actual dirt. Mr. Sillysid can do whatever the heck he wants. He'll be the one cleaning it out. What I like to keep these for is just show. And the ideal scenario is to get to the bag, any old pattern bag. Problem is, this is a bigger size to like the round exit that came after this for like the 638, the 612 that the belt is for. So you're careful what bag you buy. Obviously, you know, finding a pattern bag for something this old can be a bit of a challenge. But as we know from our own coffee cans on this channel, we have a little hack for that. And that little hack is to take the tool adapter from the toolkit and stuff any old bag on it. I have a heifer flow on this because the bag on the MBV does need changing. So I can use this after this video to do just that, which will pop this on, do it up nice and tight, and it's going to look a bit silly, but I mean, well, you could use this in an operating theatre, in a hospital now. Picked up those bits already. What we need to do now, obviously I'm going to be turning it back on again in a second, would you go the other way? Is we need to make this change notes, just like a Kirby, as it hits the carpet. That's it, folks. Whoa. We should go lower. Wow, that thing has grown so well. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's got an official genuine brush roll. The bearing holders aren't, you know, the normal ones you'd expect. Because, yeah, they would normally be riveted into the shell, wouldn't they? You know, hold people who know better than me, comment below. I don't think that's a genuine brush roll. I think this works in its favour because it can have, like, modern, senior, you know, these are going to be... They're not genuine, but they're moderner, stiffer. That helps it a lot. And wow, it's, you know, it's actually dug out a fair amount of crud from the rug. That's not bad, is it? I mean, I think it could even do with being adjusted up a little bit. Again, it's meant for a much thinner carpet that it can pick up. Again, late 1920s, early 1930s, not 2000s, wherever the heck this thing's from. Because you can't have it too low or it slows the motor down. But you can't have it too high. There. Yeah. What we want to do is improve this. This is what we need to do. I'm currently using some sort of cheap, I don't take it off, some cheap rubber hose cuff on the MBD because I got rid of my plastic one. And what that means is that, I mean, it's a bit clunky. I can't really hold the hose. But we can suck up all of this sawdust if you'll just kink out the way. There we go. I'll put it on max. Whoa! Oh, ready? Yeah. This is how you use a coffee can. And of course, if we let the pneumatic run on for a few seconds, it will clear out all of the sawdust. Yeah, this is, I mean, if you just use that for sawdust with the original bag, that would have to wash that original bag again. I would just recommend, Gary, that you just find a really cheap toolkit. As long as it's got this bit on it, you will be laughing. And yeah, you can do silly things like that. I say silly things again. If you wanted to clean your whole house, I know how I'd rather do it, as silly as this is. If you had a longer hose, the beauty in using these machines is this bit, the noise, the sound. If you had just a machine in the other room and ignored this bit coming off of here, you could clean like it's the 1920s and not have to spend 3.5 hours cleaning out the bag afterwards before you put it away into storage. The only thing that you miss is the lovely ballooning up of the bag. You can't have everything. Just take a nice photo of it, like that. Set that photograph as your desktop background, and job done. This is all the old Hoover you ever need. So, there we go. The next time that you see this eBay Find Hoover will be on Gary's channel, Sillysid123's. It's been a pleasure sorting this out for you, mate. Sit in front of the telly for a few nights and carry on polishing the metal, and it will come up better and better each time. It's just got a bit dull because we've been touching it and handling it, and I'm sure you'll be touching it and handling it as well as you unbox it, put it back together. I mean, we can unplug it for safety. Thank you, Wizard, you have been most useful. We can undo this bolt, pull out the plug down there. Look, I even polished the pins on this plug, which never gets seen. And then I think you've got to take the bolt out. So we'll take the bolt out of here. Oh my goodness, there we go. Take the bag off of the handle. Then we can take the handle off again. This bit got cleaned up. And again, I didn't paint the handle. I think that is acceptable in terms of wear versus originality. But again, you do what the heck you want. This is not my machine. All I can do now is box this up, get it ready to send it to its owner. This is what makes these a bit of a pain. Luckily it came in that very custom box. Because this long handle doesn't split in the middle. It's the same with the up to the 375. Very annoying indeed. But it can go back. It can go to its new home where its owner can see it for the first time. So what do you think? Did we do alright with this Hoover? I think so. It's had its first service in probably 50 years. It's all the better for it. I think its flaws in terms of non-original brush roll and non-original cable are more than made up for the fact that it runs so well, can be used very well, and can be turned with a little bit of imagination into a pretty usable daily driver too. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and somebody else's vacuum cleaner, I guess. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.